joined this afternoon by a very special guest. His name, Nick Yaya. Nick, it's a pleasure to meet you. So tell me, how exactly is credit card debt making me a slave? Well, first, Nick, thanks for having me. I think the word slave is a bit harsh. I would rather use the term indentured servitude. I see. And this indentured servitude is imposed upon us by the credit card company somehow? Well, it's something that we actually bring upon ourselves by using credit cards. But credit card companies are implicit in keeping us to serve them by raising interest rates and lowering minimum payments. Okay, so once they've got you in their clutches, so to speak, then they really start to squeeze you and keep you in their grip for as long as possible. That's exactly right, Nick. It's kind of like a scene from The Matrix where Neo sees all the human beings being used as batteries to power the machines. That's essentially what we are. What, batteries? Yes, financial batteries. So, what you're telling me is that these companies with their slick ads telling us about how we can get 5% cash back or cute little kittens on our cards is a malevolent force that is here to enslave the earth? Yep, that's pretty much it, Nick. I just can't believe this. If what you're telling me is true, then the past 30 years of my life, all of our lives, have been spent in service of mega banks and corporations. Well, these companies also contribute a lot to the economy, paying taxes on their earnings, which is why our government has allowed this to go on for as long as it has. Our country depends on it. It's in our national interests. So, how do we free ourselves from this nightmare? We'll find out after a brief message from our sponsor. And welcome back. So Nick, how can we break free from credit card debt? The first step is recognizing the problem, which is compound interest and its use against you by the credit card companies. The next step is negotiating the terms of the settlement with the credit card company. And how exactly is that done? I mean, do I just call them up and tell them I want to settle? It's not quite that simple, but it does involve that at some point. In fact, there are companies that will help do this on your behalf with no fees up front. Yes, I've heard of them. Consumer Credit Counseling Services. Well, Nick, you need to be aware that consumer credit counseling services were bought up by the credit card companies and banks some time ago, and that they're used as a loss mitigation tool to prevent cardholders from declaring bankruptcy or otherwise defaulting on their loans. They want to keep you paying down that loan with as little money as possible for as long as possible at an interest rate which is reasonable, most times from 8 to 10%. Of course, most people choose this option because it seems like a way out and at far less interest than their current 25 or 30%, which is like what I was paying. It would have taken me 80 years to pay off a $5,000 credit card bill with Bank of America at my interest rate of 34.99% and would have garnered them over $900,000 in interest. You've got to be kidding. So you're telling me that middle-class America falls somewhere between your extreme situation and my perfect credit. Wow. I'm speechless. As you should be, Nick. Up until now, there has not been a voice to speak up on behalf of the American people and the rest of the world. But now there is. I found a company called Debt America. They negotiate on your behalf with your creditors to get your interest rate reduced to zero and your late fees removed in the end. They settle with the creditors for 20 or 30 cents on the dollar and will clean up your credit as if nothing had ever happened. Really? Absolutely. You can find more information about Debt America on my website at nickyaya.com. I have been to your website. I was checking out the Rule of 72. Tell our viewers what it has to do with debt and creating wealth. The Rule of 72 is something that Albert Einstein developed, and it determines the rate at which money will grow over a specified period of time with a specified amount of interest. This is the rule that governs the consumer lending industry, or credit cards as they're known. What the rich don't want you to know is that they get richer and will stay richer because of the Rule of 72, because of compound interest. So that's how they do it. I've always wondered how the rich get richer. And your website shows me ways I can use compound interest to my advantage? Absolutely, Nick. I can show you and anyone else who's interested in how to use interest to increase their personal wealth. In most cases, people only need to save a few $100s a month and can retire with nearly $1 million in the bank or more, depending on what age they begin saving. Okay, so I save a few $100s a month. In what? A bank account or a CD? No, Nick. That will only make the banks richer. What you need to do is put your money in places where rich people put their money and reap the same benefits. Oh, so you're saying I should invest in the stock market? Not exactly. I'm talking about safe investments, secure investments, investments that only grow over time and can never decrease in value. Are you familiar with the term universal life? Are you talking about life insurance like term life or whole life? You're on the right track. Universal life is the next step in the evolution of life insurance. Very similar to whole life, which can be expensive. Universal life has the same benefits at a fraction of the cost. What kind of benefits are you talking about? The big one is having access to up to 90% of the cash value of your policy in the form of a low or no interest loan. Cash value? What's that? That's the savings portion of your life insurance policy. Many people use it to send their kids to college, purchase a second home, or as a supplement to Social Security income. Oh, so it's kind of like a 401k. Aside from using it as a supplement to Social Security, no. Unlike a 401k plan, you can have access to the money before you're 59.5 years old without the 10% penalty or taxation. And because you access the money via a tax-advantaged loan, you're not subject to income tax. What about the loan? Do I have to pay it back? No. The loan can be deducted from your death benefit, which is also passed on federally tax-free to your heirs. It's all on my website. Well, there you have it, folks. The next best financial step for you and your family can be found at nickyaya.com. And I'd like to thank our guest, Nick Yaya, for enlightening us this afternoon. And I'd like to thank you for tuning into our show. And be sure to check out episode 4, during which I'll show you where to put your money so that it will last you for the rest of your life, through retirement and beyond. So for now, and the foreseeable future, I'm Nick Yaya. Now get out there and beat the system. These are the new leads. These are the Glengarry leads, and you will go and you don't get them. Why? Because giving to you would just be throwing them away. Where's Kevin Spacey? Well, we're trying to shoot a scene here. Can somebody please get him back on set?